Welcome back. Today we're looking at a detailed video expose concerning some really serious allegations. Predatory behavior, potential criminality within an online community, and claims about the creator's negligence. Let's dive straight into how we can maximize the impact.
Okay.
So, first off, the sheer severity of these allegations really demands a more structured narrative. We need to ensure that the core theme, this pattern of alleged negligence, isn't getting lost because there are just so many fragmented incidents being presented.
Right, that makes sense.
The way it flows now, it jumps pretty rapidly between these really complex cases. You've got Kuomia, the convicted felon, then suddenly we're on to Sam the man, then the whole Ariel Broly grooming situation, Zenzo's threats.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in all at once.
Exactly. And it shifts from like a Discord file ring discussion to a TikTok lawsuit back to moderation problem. For the audience, trying to process this much heavy stuff, it's hard to grasp the totality of the danger and, crucially, the creator's alleged continuous failure to act.
Yeah, that scattering effect is a key weakness here. When you have so many serious incidents jumping between them without a clear thematic link, it can actually lessen the overall weight. It feels more like a list of terrible things rather than a coherent case being built.
So the suggestion then is to group things, cluster the evidence?
Basically, yeah. Group the dense material into maybe 2 or 3 focused thematic sections. This lets the audience digest the scale of the problem more methodically. It builds that undeniable case sort of brick by brick. Gives people room to breathe between the categories of evidence, too.
Okay, so how would that look practically? What kind of themes are we talking about?
Well, for immediate impact, maybe start with the operational failure. Call it something like the moderation failure. That's pillar 1.
Right.
Use those former mod statements. Ravenkoff's testimony is powerful. And that specific screenshot, the one where the mod apparently couldn't ban someone targeting women because the creator prioritized people who were, quote, nice to me and give me money.
Okay. Yeah, that directly establishes the alleged mechanism of negligence right up front. Sets the stage.
Exactly. Once you've shown the community's safety mechanism is fundamentally broken, then you can escalate.
So the next pillar could be?
Maybe something clinical, like verifiable external criminality. Focus just on the stuff you can prove with public record.
Okay.
We're talking Kumania, the fact a convicted individual was moderating, and the really detailed case of Sam the man, or Steve Ango, lay out the alleged 52 obscene phone calls, the dismissed domestic violence case, and that article about him getting away with first-degree murder.
Grounding it in external, verifiable facts like that definitely boosts credibility. It takes it beyond just server drama or chat log.
Precisely. It makes the argument much stronger.
And then a third section, perhaps?
Yeah, you could consolidate that whole multi-person grooming dynamic, Ariel, Broly, Matt Carty, into one focused chronological account.
Okay.
That lets you really hammer home the gravity of the alleged predatory environment that persisted apparently for years. Detail who knew what, when. Laying it out chronologically makes that negligence claim feel almost unavoidable.
That structure, moderation, failure, verifiable criminality, grooming dynamic, feels much clearer. It builds a really strong logical.
Yeah. It allows the audience to process the information without being overwhelmed by the sheer volume jumping around.
Okay, so structure's one, but then there's how this very serious information is delivered. Brings us to our second main, refining the rhetorical strat. It's about credibility and, frankly, legal defensibility.
Absolutely critical, given the content.
The video mentions anxiety about legal repercussion, and the allegations themselves, grooming, criminality, complicity, are incredibly serious. So shifting the commentary away from highly emotional reactions towards a more objective, investigative analysis seems, essential.
It does.
Right now, the commentary often leans on very subjective, reactive language. You hear things like, you freak, you're a freak, or why are you having this weird, freaky, creepy, gross, disgusting, not okay conversation?
Which, look, the outrage is completely understandable. Anyone hearing this would feel that.
Of course. But that style, and especially the speculation, like guessing why the 26-year-old might be obsessed with teenagers, it risks alienating viewers who are looking for serious analysis. And rhetorically, it's just weaker than a more detached, evidence-based approach.
I agree. When the stakes are this high, pure emotional reaction, even if justified, can unintentionally shift the focus. The audience starts reacting to the presenter's reaction instead of focusing purely on the evidence presented.
So the suggestion is?
The subject's own responses.
Legalistic. How so?
It means focusing the audience entirely on the alleged actions and their consequences, rather than on personal feelings of disgust or shock. Let the facts speak for themselves.
Okay, but what does that actually sound like when you're looking at, say, those grooming role-play screenshots? It's hard not to react strongly.
It is hard. But the key is to step back into more of a reporter role. So, for example, with those screenshots involving the 14-year-old and the 20-year-old, instead of exclaiming cringe or disgusting, just objectively state the facts.
Like,
here we see screenshots depicting explicit sexual role play between participant A, aged 14, and participant B, aged 20. Evidence suggests this dynamic was encouraged by participant C, aged 34. Clearly state the ages, the nature of the content, the alleged dynamic. The shock should come from those stated facts, not the presenter's commentary on the facts.
Okay, I see. That shift does make the argument feel more solid. It moves from personal judgment to documented failure.
Exactly. And take the instance where the creator dismissed that donation about Zenzo's threats, the specific one about the steel pipe.
Right.
Instead of just expressing shock that she focused on her own treatment mentioned in the same message, frame it using concepts like willful blindness or negligence.
So less, I can't believe she ignored that, and more
like the creator acknowledged seeing the donation which contained a specific complaint about Zenzo making threats with a steel pipe. The message containing this threat was then deleted. The creator chose instead to address only the part of the message concerning her own treatment. This action raises questions of potential willful blindness to a specific imminent threat reported directly via her donation stream.
Yeah, that lands with much more weight. It's analytical, powerful, and probably safer from a legal standpoint too.
Definitely feels more robust.
Okay, so structure and tone. That leads us naturally to the third point, bolstering the visual evidence and making sure the context is absolutely crystal clear.
Which ties everything together, really. Clarity is key.
To maximize the impact of an exposé like this, the presentation just has to eliminate confusion, precisely identify who is who, and define any ambiguous actions mentioned.
And right now, there are spots where uncertainty creeps in.
Yeah, the video itself sometimes expresses uncertainty, like who exactly are Zork and Dark in those grooming chats? What was the specific nature of the stalking by Sam the man? How did it manifest?
And the age confusion is a big one.
Absolutely. The confusion around Ariel Harley Quinn Ivy's age, sometimes 17, then 19, then 20, that really muddies the waters regarding the alleged illegal age gap. It weakens the clarity significantly.
And when the allegations are this severe, any ambiguity, even a seemingly small thing like shifting ages, can unfortunately be used to try and undermine the whole case. People might focus on the inconsistencies rather than the core evidence.
So, what's the fix? Just be more precise?
Yes, precision and explicit clarification. The suggestion is, wherever an allegation relies on secondary sources or potentially confusing screenshots, explicitly state what the evidence proves versus what's still alleged or needs more research. Don't leave room for doubt where you have solid proof, and acknowledge where things are less certain.
Okay.
And define the mechanism of the harm. For example, with Sam the man and the stalking claims, you need to use the victim's specific description of how it happened.
You mean the part about him using donations?
Exactly. Quoted, he would give donations to her, Cooney donate to her, things about us, her savings in chat that she would directly read and see this harassment happening. Spell that out. That's the mechanism of the alleged stalking.
Ah, okay. Because that clarifies how the creator could have been aware in real time. The harassment was happening via the very donation stream she was reading. Makes the negligence claim much clearer.
Precisely. It connects the dots for the viewer, and visually, this needs reinforcement too.
How so?
Use clear visual cues on the grooming screenshots. Consistently label the participants by name and, crucially, age, like Ariel 20 and Jess 14, right there on the image every time they appear.
Get rid of the Harley Quinn Ivy confusion. Nail down the ages visually.
Yes. Remove that ambiguity. Ensure the audience immediately grasps the alleged power dynamic without needing to mentally juggle different ages or names mentioned elsewhere. Consistency is absolutely key for impact.
Makes sense. And what about allegations that are harder to pin down, like the Johnny Nazi, where maybe the screenshot evidence isn't fully there in the video?
Acknowledge the uncertainty head on. Say something like, The identity of Johnny and confirmation of the specific Nazi allegations require clearer evidence, but then pivot immediately to what is established.
Which is?
The established fact that this individual, whoever he was eventually banned, but only after victimizing 2 women. Frame it around the pattern of delayed action.
So even if the specific ideology claim is fuzzy, the core issue, the alleged prioritization of something else over immediate safety, still comes through.
Exactly. It reinforces the overall theme of negligence, even when dealing with less concrete details. Focus on the documented outcomes and delays.
Okay, so recapping the main areas then: structure, tone, and specificity.
That's right. Overall, the source material here is incredibly dense. It's impactful already, but refining these 3 areas could really elevate it. Restructure the narrative thematically, think moderation, failure, verifiable crime, grooming dynamics.
Shift the tone from emotional reaction to more objective, investigative reporting. Use that analytical, almost legalistic language, especially around the heaviest evidence.
And finally, ensure all the visual evidence is contextually nailed down. Eliminate confusion about identities, ages, and how the alleged harm or harassment was occurring and visible. Be explicit.
Yeah, those seem like the key actionable steps. Reorganize into thematic pillars, swap emotional commentary for analytical framing, and clarify all the visual specifics. That should really strengthen the overall credibility and impact.
Absolutely. It's about making an already powerful exposé even more undeniable.
Great. Well, we definitely look forward to seeing how these refinements shape the final piece. Please do feel free to submit the revised work for another look.
Yes, please do.